just gonna check that mic, check it up, check it up. Check one, check one, check 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Hello, welcome to the Mr. Psyche Sunday Show. My name is Mr. Psyche. This week on the Mr. Psyche Show, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, an indie game that got me so obsessed I almost didn't finish my script this week. A little dive into a very, very delectable and delicious dungeon in Delicious and Dungeon on the first 3 for the anime show for the week. And finally, I dig into some information about VTubers and VTuber fans having some issue with their merch. Welcome to the Mr. Psyche Sunday Show. My name is Mr. Psyche. I'm a VTuber, and that's the truth. Hope you had a wonderful Sunday. Actually, it just started, so actually, I wish you had a good week. I know I did. This week, I have taken some time to step back, reevaluate, and really kind of look at what's going on content-wise. Personally, I think things are looking fantastic and up, and if you've paid any attention to my channel in the last week or so, you might have noticed some of the changes as well. Sorry about the late start again, folks. As the Mr. Psyche show goes on week to week, I learn, I grow, and I develop. One of the things I've developed most is a habit of not being ready the day before. So here we are as I try to recover and get back into entertainment mode. If you're not aware, my name is Mr. Psyche, the VTuber with the fro that doesn't need no glow. I'm here to entertain you on Sundays at 11 PST, 11:30 if you're, being a degenerate like me, where we talk about all things gaming, anime, and VTubing. This week, we're going to be jumping right in to the game sesh, where I am going to be talking about one of my most anticipated games, maybe ever in a while, to be honest. Something that crossed my path because of the internet hype train. And, a little bit of destiny because I'm an addict and I cannot stop playing. I think I got everything set up properly from last week, so I'm hoping there won't be any issues this week going into the session. But I guess we'll find out. Turning to games this week, folks. Actually, before I get started, I just want to say welcome in. Anybody who has been taking the time to check out my channel Roonies and been seeing the views and the likes, and I really appreciate all of the support. I also want to say that there's definitely going to be a lot more structure going forward. So that is the plan. That is the ultimate plan and goal. This is how we do things. Doesn't always turn out great, but we're out here making the moves. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and be pals, listen up, because I'm going to tell you what's coming up. Here on the Mr. Psyche Show, we talk about everything games, anime, and VTubing. And the first session I want to start with today is known as the Game Sesh. This week on the Game Sesh, a remake that may have actually lived up to the standards of fans. The hype train speculation going on in the D2 community, as my predictions were correct from last week. And a game that I have to warn you, if you do end up giving it a try, please play responsibly. This week on the Game Sesh, on the Mr. Psyche Show. FF7, or Final Fantasy VII Remake, has been in gamers' hands for a bit now, and the positive reception of the game couldn't be better news to hear for a gamer like myself. Uh-oh. Look at, hey, look, we're already messing up, guys. I know we gotta have a little bit of, we gotta have a little bit in the morning to get us, awake and started. But I think we're good now. Moving right along. Hey, listen, it was, like I said, it was bad last week, but we're getting better now, right? The open world, though, through the conversations I've seen, is slightly cookie cutter in its open world design, but a wonderful view into some of the characters' themes and the towns the FF7 fans have been waiting for some time. The score to the game is also massive, and it has... Oh, sorry. Not the score as in the gamer score. The musical score to the game is massive, with over 400 songs, and many wonderful renditions that have added some fresh vibes to the game, while giving fans of the series some new versions to gush over. Streamers who have an appreciation for the game seem to approve of the game, as well as friends of mine who are also looking forward to this great release. While Final Fantasy VII Remake was the big game, in my opinion, because it... Sorry. Folks, welcome to the Mr. Psyche Show, where not only did I start late, but I'm still trying to shake off the cobwebs of the morning. If you are too, I'm going to go ahead and suggest you join along with me as I take a really, really big sip of the old coffee and try to get myself in a better headspace here, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate everybody who come by on the Mr. Psyche Sunday Show. If you're not aware, if you come and join me live on the Mr. Psyche Sunday Show, you can be part of the live conversation and discussions. And those live conversations and discussions will be on the show release at the end of the week. So there you go. The initial Final Fantasy VII Remake was the big game in my opinion, because had it been overly bad, that would have set up a rocky road for the trilogy going forward. Since it hit fans at that very, least a serviceable case on the negative end, and very, very well for most fans on the positive end, we were able to put aside the initial fear of it just needing to be good. However, Rebirth is the game that most people would have in mind when it came to the parts of Final Fantasy they actually wanted remade. That feeling you get after leaving Midgar in the initial game is a pivotal moment that gamers blessed enough to experience for the first time in their youth, at a time when that game was doing things others weren't, will surely live in the memories forever. Since so many outlets are reporting well in the game, I'm able to sigh another gamer sigh of relief as I prepare to play through it myself. This might just be me, but usually when my game is a good piece of art, I very rarely get to see spoilers, so when things are good, spoilers don't pop up very much. And I haven't seen that in the case for this game. I'm sure in the coming weeks we will begin to see those discussions, and players can dig into the meat of whether or not the story liberties and character developments are going to hold in the hearts the way the original story did. However, the overall success of this game has made me overjoyed that out of my list of a few games I would be totally devastated if they were remade bad, Final Fantasy VII, though not with all, seems to not be one of those games, and is hitting fans where it matters most, right in the feels. Fans are going chocobo feathers over fans are going chocobo feathers over Tifa and Cloud swimsuit pictures. Ultra gamers are posting up piano performances, and I, once again, get to enjoy another wonderful timeline of pictures of my beautiful villain Sephiroth on my timeline. All things in balance. As past me last week expected, right off the buzz of skimmers dropping in Destiny 2 and setting off a flash grenade in the eyes of the Destiny 2 fans, a teaser in the shape of a very confusing piece of art dropped in this week at Bungie. Along with the artwork, some elements, sorry, geez. Hey, listen, we're all over the place. We're over here, we're over there, sorry. Along with the artwork with some elements that might be considered never before seen, an announcement for upcoming announcements via live stream about Into the Light came up. Into the Light is a piece of content that is seemingly being inserted between now and the final shape to try and hold players over and lead into the upcoming release. There's also been some mention on the Bungie side that part of Into the Light is going to help new players onboarding going forward. While the community goes crazy, speculating all over the place, I personally think it will be a horde mode. That's just me. We wait patiently as the hype ball is slowly pushing over the side of the hill. I'm going to go ahead and try to predict now, as I did with the announcement of the announcement, there's probably going to be one, maybe two trailers in the upcoming live streams. Bonus points if they tease something for content for after the final shape. You can go ahead and check Bungie's sites for dates for the live streams. However, I will most likely be covering some of the info after the streams are over and the community conversation has started. Like most of my Destiny segments, it always ends with eyes up, Guardian. Still to the final shape. Listen, if you would have told me last week that I'd have a card game paused on my desktop because I could barely pull myself away long enough to finish my show setup for this week, I would have told you that I needed a little puff of whatever it is you were smoking on before going on about that day. If you haven't heard about this one yet, a deck builder game called Balatro came out, and there's a good chance that if you go and try this, after listening to this, there's a high likelihood that you will not be paying attention for my next week's show. Balatro is a roguelike deck builder centered around building poker decks. Yeah, you heard that right. Well, having a baseline understanding of how poker hands are won and played, that's a good start, but it's not necessary to play this game or enjoy it. You don't need any of that. You will get sucked into this game. Believe me when I say that I'm worried about the potential of my sleep schedule as my eyes dart off to the little Joker card swiveling around on my screen, waiting for me to finish this next run. As its core mechanic, you score points against the so-called house as you try to use your score multiplier to beat the current blind on the board. The blind is essentially the boss condition you need to win that hand. You get a certain number of discards to build and play hands from your current board, and then you have to beat the points on the ante for the house. You win, and you go on to the next run. When you win, whatever bet you're playing, you can accrue money to buy cards to help your hand going forward. Pretty simple, right? You will not be able to play just one hand of this game. What early on starts as a game of simple points becomes a board of multipliers, strange and unique Joker cards, tarot cards, and the biggest case of the one mores I have ever felt in a long time. What does this card do? Adds a point multiplier? Adds a point multiplier to flushes? Okay. Wait, there are cards that let you change suits to other suits? What if I made a flush deck? Is that even a thing? Hey, looks like it is. Wait, does that multiplier stack? I can move the Joker card order? Is that a banana? Should I go for the flush here? What the hell does that card do? One more run. Just one more run. I know how to play poker, but it's not like my peanut butter and jelly. But this game is a perfect blend of card elements, roguelike elements, and a dash of madness that makes me need to hit the new run button again and again. Maybe just once more. Please, please, please do not sleep on this one. That is, of course, unless you need sleep. Then actually, I don't really know how to recommend this game to you, except to say to you, it's an indie title that has struck pure gold. And after I'm done with this show, I'm going to go finish my last run. Thank you so much for joining me on the game sesh. I'm going to take a very, very, very quick break. And I'll be right back for the open discussion. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Ah. Thank you so much for popping in. This is the open discussion section of the Mr. Psyche show. And, we're talking about games. This week was good. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I didn't know when I wanted to talk about it because I'm always on the fence about jumping in about discussions for games that I haven't completed yet. But then I realized that's not how people who commentate on games operate. If I had time to play every game, I probably wouldn't have time to make content for you. So that's that. I am so glad that this has landed. Final Fantasy VII was pivotal for me. It was probably one of, if not the biggest games of my youth. And because of that, I was essentially terrified for the remakes. Just absolutely terrified. When your favorite piece of art is going through a remaster or a remake, there's always some bit of hesitation or worry. And so that was my big thing here was, you got to hit it right. The care and love they've put into the characters for the most part is where I'm really, really impressed. The remake was very, very good. Obviously it had its problems. I'm not some maniac, or I was able to see, those flaws. And the big thing that I keep seeing from people in regards to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just the open world feeling very Ubisoft. I remember when I was watching Max, who is a creator who has helped continue on the legacy of Final Fantasy by keeping it rich in some players' minds in the West, and always just showing really good love and appreciation for the medium and the art form. Basically was saying that, this is the most Ubisoft-ass Final Fantasy game he's ever played. The expanded world, though, it looks incredible. Every song I've heard is fantastic. I just like when Remake came out, though, it has been very, very spoiler light, which is good. But that just means that the deep conversations about what's going on with story elements or things like that may have gotten changed or whatever should probably be coming around the corner. But it's a long one, so I hope people are just taking their time with it. They can sit down, reflect, and then come in with a good perspective and not just wanting to hop on whatever train is going on, like hate train or positive train that's going on the tubes. So we're talking a little bit about Destiny. Whoa, I hope everybody heard that. But before I continue on with my open discussion about Destiny, I need to fuel up for this morning. So I've got two things on deck here. I've got a small cart. This is Black and Blue Kush. And then I also have good luck. I can't find the strain, don't care. And so I'm just gonna reset. If you're out there, it's time to ride the Pendulum, Blinkerton. Join me if you are. Remember, folks, this is a 18 plus legal. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, 1 second. There will be a day sometime. Well, there will be a cool animation for that. I will make this. I will make this a reality. This will happen. This will happen. Shake it off. Okay. Talking about Destiny a little bit. I think it's really funny that I actually had a clip ready. Next week, by the way, I'm going to try to prepare some clips. I just need to be able to make sure they are integrated properly within my screen during the live show. So, but yeah, I had a clip ready talking about Destiny of myself when I made the prediction that right after the skimmers popped, we would get an announcement, and that announcement would be an announcement of an announcement, and that's exactly what happened in the TWID. They went ahead and said, hey, here's a thing coming, but we're not talking about it here, we're talking about it here, so join us for the live streams. There's going to be 3 live streams, which means that there's probably going to be a lot of info. There's probably going to be another setup for more info coming in the live streams. But I am predicting 1 to 2 trailers, at least one for the Into the Light experience. They're probably going to go into big detail about what new player onboarding is going to look like. At least from what I've seen and what I've read, that seems to be a focus for Bungie with Into the Light, is this new player onboarding experience before Beyond Light drops, which it's like, okay, you're worried about the new player onboarding experience before the final expansion of the story, but hey, you know, what do I know? Just like last year though, it seems like Bungie's biggest issue isn't going to be Bungie itself or the fans, but the fact that there are just way too many good games coming out in or around these areas to shift our focus. I can't, it's almost near impossible to keep with the gaming cycle because you get banger after banger and then people are talking about a new game. I was shocked that my timeline was almost annihilated by gamers talking about what the hell this Balatro game was over the fact that like a lot of people hadn't finished Final Fantasy VII yet, so that's kind of crazy. Speaking of Balatro, oh my god, so this is a little indie card game, roguelike. There's so many things that shouldn't make sense with this game, but you really got to try it if you've ever enjoyed, or if you've not even enjoyed, shoot, if you've ever spent any time playing a card game at all on the computer, like if you played solitaire, any of that stuff, even if it wasn't for you, just click around for a little bit, play it, mess around with it. It's on Steam, it's cheap, it's an indie game. I don't know if it's, hold on, the beauty of being live, let me just go double check. I'm not 100%, I think it might be for Switch too as well, but it might be PC only. Hold on, stay with me, chat here. Yeah, so PS5, Nintendo Switch, okay, yeah, so you can, anybody can play this pretty much. Xbox One, yeah, so it's cheap. I really suggest picking this up. It's got 96% on Steam. The reviews are hilarious. If you go read the reviews on Steam, it's like, okay, so I am clearly having a problem not playing this game. I'm addicted and it's a problem, so I should probably stop doing this. But no, but that being said, I was not lying in my segment when I said that I literally had the game paused and open on the side. The screenshot that I had in my segment was actually the screenshot of the game just to the left of me while I was trying to finish everything up for today's show. So I thought that was really funny. The builds get crazy. The cards, like the tarot, there's like tarot cards, there's planet cards, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but they all, you know, buff the deck that you're building on that specific run, and then if you fail that run, you basically start over. But there's also cards that like buff straights, buff pairs, there's weird stuff going on. Honestly, it sounds weird, but I don't necessarily want to tell you too much about what all the cards do, because half the fun is just falling into these scenarios of like, could I do this, or what the is this possible? Or when I was sitting down, the first, I think, big one where I was having a really good run, I was getting swap cards a lot, so I was swapping out my clubs for more hearts in my deck, so my deck would be more heart heavy. And then I was trying to build around flush bonuses, so it would be like, oh, my next one would be like, this card gives multipliers to flush. It's insane, the way the little game responds, all the little stuff. It's like dopamine slot machine punching me in the center of my face, but with no actual gambling, no like loot boxes. It's just, you know, sit down, single player experience, go crazy, have fun. So strongly suggest checking that one out if you don't want to spend $70 on a new game, need something that you could play on and off in your spare time. It's not like a huge commitment sink unless you're in the middle of a run, or you're like me and you're like, I'm gonna play this for 5 minutes. Nope, man, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Sorry. It's, yo, good luck to you. Good luck to you, friend. That's all I gotta say. Check it out. If you do check it out, take some time to leave a comment down below of how addicted you are to the game. And if you're not addicted to the game, then, you know, leave a comment down below on how you want me to fro, you know. Sorry. I always have to take some time to, you know, just admire my fro. Listen, if you don't check yourself in the mirror every once in a while and just go, oh yeah, I'm making it happen. I don't know what you're doing, man. Just do it. You know, just give yourself that pep talk every once in a while. Like, hey, you are killing this shit, bro. Yeah, you're killing this shit. But look at you, killing this shit, bro. Just do that to you. Yeah, gotta gas yourself up a little bit. Come on. All right. I wanted to do a very quick high rant here. Not a lot, unscripted, just a little bit. I didn't want to include it before, but I at least want to include it now for any person out there that might be watching me or listening to me, because I just kind of need to do this and just like kind of let it out. But like, I didn't want to talk about it right away because it actually hit me harder than I think we're losing a celebrity should. But Akira Toriyama passing was devastating for me. And I just wanted to take a moment to say that I am truly sorry for the losses of all around. And that I am just blown away by the fact that one single man could have had so much influence on the art, games, everything that influences me as a gamer, even a creator, really. The inspirations are all over me. When I'm working at my desk or I'm doing anything, I'm not far from Dragon Ball Z Reminder, Chrono Trigger. These are two of my favorite pieces of media. I can't even like quantify it as like my favorite anime or game. These are just two of my favorite pieces of media and art ever that exist. The world of Dragon Ball essentially got me into anime as a whole. Why I tried to was essentially watching the Spanish versions. Didn't even understand because that was what was broadcasting on my television, my whatever, how many channels we had, TV, to watch the Spanish version of Dragon Ball Z, and that led to Sailor Moon and yada yada. And Chrono Trigger was the first real RPG game I played, specifically for for the Dragon Ball Z art influences. Excuse me if I'm not being able to word things right. I'm trying my best here, but yeah, it's rough. It's really rough, and I don't have a lot to say because it just hurts, and I don't have anything eloquent to say because there isn't anything eloquent to say in my opinion, except for we lost a true champion. One of the biggest parts of my childhood, and yeah. Anyways, folks, after that somber note, I'm going to take a very, very quick break as we get into the first three, the anime segment of the week. It'll be much happier than that little bit, I promise. Thank you so much for joining me for the Mr. Psyche show. My name is Mr. Psyche. I'm gonna take a quick break. Be right back. Woo 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 woo. Mr. Psyche, Mr. Boo 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 Boo. Mr. Psyche, Mr. You guys like my I'm back music? You like it? You don't? I don't care. You'll like it. You will like it. Yeah, welcome back to the Mr. Psyche show, where the running joke is that I say welcome back to myself, and I will never let that die. My name is Mr. Psyche, the VTuber with a lot to gain and a lot to lose. Welcome to the Sunday show, where I talk about all things gaming, anime, and VTubing every Sunday, 10 a.m. PST on the Mr. Psyche show. Remember, folks, to take some time to like the stream, share with your friends, and check out my YouTube videos whenever you can. We're going to be moving into the anime section, known as the first three, where this week I'm going to have to resist. Well, this week I basically had a giant issue with the fact that this week of the first three, the munchies were a huge factor during the review process. Let me just say that. Yeesh. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday morning now, afternoon now, whatever your time zone is. Don't yell at me. And welcome to my show. It's been good. It's been good. We've been doing good, and that's you and me. We've been making moves, haven't we? I believe we have. Yes, we have. I'm gonna click the wrong thing about 4 more times, and while I do that, everybody can just chill out. It's fine. It'll be fine. Gosh, sometimes I just don't know, man. Sometimes I just don't know. Quick reminder from Mr. Psyche, that's me, to stretch and stay hydrated. Super important. Talking to myself. Folks, welcome to the first three. Still not caught up on the... I mean, what I meant to say... Hold on, I'm going to take a moment to look myself right in the eyes here. VTuber to VTuber. VTuber to engineer. Engineer to VTuber. Get it together, buddy. All right. Here we are. Still not caught up on all the shows, but don't know what to watch? Finding a new show for your slot, but don't have all the time in the world? Welcome to the first three, where I watch, spoil, and give you my take on the first 3 episodes of an anime from this season, so you can decide if it's right for you. My name is Mr. Psyche, and this is Delicious in Dungeon. A lot of people were talking about this one, so I wanted to jump in and see if it was going to be the one for me. While I continue to think about that, I'm also going to come over here and secretly, unbeknownst to you, even though I'm about to tell you the truth, adjust my teleprompter speed so that I don't sound like an idiot. In episode 1, we get our opening monologue from a narrator. He's featured reoccurring throughout the first 3, talking about a man emerging from a fissure, an evil mage, and a kingdom to any man who can defeat the aforementioned mage. Short, sweet, and to the point. Don't think I understand what's going on. We get an intro and a team of adventurers in a dungeon trying to fend off a dragon, and almost all the attention is set on the fact that the team is tired and, more importantly, very hungry. Tummies growl as they try to lock into the situation, but one of our apparent head protagonists, Laos, is so distracted he missed a screeching cue from his sister, who he turns to see, in horror, has been munched aggressively and is sitting in the dragon's jaw. She tells him to escape, that's pretty much the only way, and casts a flashbang of a teleportation spell. Then we open to the characters, now in an open field. As the teammate regroups, their focus seems to still be a little bit off, as Laos is worried about if his sister is going to be digested too quickly. And there's immediately a discussion between the crew about how all this adventuring stuff is really expensive. Partying is hard. They just had 2 party members quit, and the hunger pains are excessive. It's at this moment I have an internal crisis about the fact that I still don't know if it's supposed to be hunger pains or hunger pangs. And then the party decides to head back to try and rescue Fallon, the sister, before she's fully digested by the dragon. All right. As they head to the catacombs, an old graveyard turned hub area in the early area of the dungeons, Laos presses his 2 companions about surviving in the deep dungeon, which might mean learning to eat monsters, even going so far as to explain an entire ecosystem of monsters to try and paint a picture for his crew. Marcel, the overexcited mage, is very resistant to the idea of eating monsters, even more than the short-statured Chilchuk, the verbally blunt trapmaster and sneaky boy. Marcel says doing what they got to do doesn't mean they should eat monsters. Sorry, quick pause. Having a cough fit. Cough fit for the masses, mind you. Doing this one for you. Laos, the knight protagonist, protests, pointing to a dungeon gourmet guide as a point of reference to all this working out in the past for others. As they reach the catacombs, Laos continues to peer pressure his team until they fold on the idea of dungeon food, at least a little bit. Since they are in the early areas of the dungeon, Laos is a little too excited about the prospect of eating monsters. He finds a small grab point that lures out a low-level scorpion and stabs it for what he thinks will be easy fixins for him and the team. He then proceeds to get some plant life from the catacombs around, with a lot of protests coming from both companions, much more persistent and loud from Marcel. As Laos sets up his boiling pot for the scorpion, he muses happily about how he's always wanted to try and eat monsters. Chilchuk thinks he's a psychopath. His words. And Marcel is worried about the poison in the scorpion. The guide says cooking it should make things all go away, so Laos goes for it. But he starts to feel ill, and that's all the evidence the others need to stay away. Enter a small, rosy-faced dwarf with a look of determination, who is now amongst the crew, stating that the poison wasn't the problem, it was the food prep. The unidentified culinary enthusiast begins to get excited that he's found more monster eaters and begins to deliver a point-by-point on how they could intensify their sad dish of scorpion using more ingredients around them. While this is going on, our loud and protesting Marcel gets slimed in the face. While she's wriggling about, the dwarf calmly walks up, cuts the slime off, and then he begins to speak again, even more excitedly. Slimes are easy to manage if you know their anatomy. Plus, apparently, with the right preparation, it will even work for this dish here. Slime can be cut and dried, stored, and preserved. Slime is indeed a great dish, the adventurer boasts. 10 years of cooking experience in the dungeon, and he wants to show the team what's up. His name is Senshi, the dwarvish seeker, and with his know-how, he whips together a meal for the team. He gathers another low-level mushroom creature, he swears will level up the dish, and then, after a quick mushroom feet smelling joke, like a straight tried and true cooking anime, he goes through each ingredient and prep like a master chef who can articulate their process like a poem. And then, bam! The food is ready. And does it look good? Drop a hot pot on him. He drops a hot pot on them, which after the initial hesitation, fills the stomach up with comments on how the food looks more normal in this state and how they're fueled and ready to travel. They let Senshi know that the team is going deeper in the dungeon to save Lao's sister from digestion. Senshi is invited to join the team as he wants nothing more than to cook some of that sweet, sweet dragon for a meal. So they all decide to move deeper in the dungeon together. A little deeper down, and after some way in, it's time for the team to wind down and find a second meal. Laos is already hyped up to try some more monsters, while his comment on how strange he gets... while his team comments on how strange he gets whenever he talks about anything monster related. We get a pretty fun moment where Marcille is still protesting because she doesn't want to take the gross monster thing too far, and Chilchuck throws a bit her way because she says, "I'll eat anything," but then complains when they suggest things to her. You know, that type. At Senshi and Lao's suggestion, they're going to go after some man-eating plants and some fauna to make their next meal. The back and forth about if the plants are actually man-eating, nah, that's just a name because they're more like Venus flytraps, and a rudely interrupted team as one of the larger plants just spits a corpse out. The plant wraps up Marcille and starts pulling in The plant then grabs Marcille and starts pulling in so it can start another digestion process. Some quick night work from Laos with little hesitation chops the creature down as they dissect, load up, and prepare for the meal for the night. Iron Chef Senshi wastes no time putting together his next meal, the man-eating plant platter that looks like a vibrant quiche. They decide to leave the corpse outside so that other adventurers will run across it. The team settles in, thoughts of their new adventure with meals. As the camera pans out to the corpse hanging outside awkwardly from a rope, visions of ingredients past go by as the narrator cues up talking about delicious dining in the dungeon. Man, I had to wipe the drool a couple times because of how good the food looks, but this one is a little goofy. Episode 2. We open to young Marcille running into a kitchen, her mother happily addressing her. "It's your birthday, remember? Gonna be cooking what you like." The pot being prepared is revealed to be hideous dungeon food as Marcille bolts awake from her nightmare to the smell of Senshi making breakfast. While he is preparing his leftovers for the squad, he is going on a rant about how young adventurers are malnutritioned. The area of the dungeon there isn't too far in yet, so it's not uncommon for them to see other people exploring the dungeon, and they had just noticed a team eating a poor nutritional meal, at least in the eyes of Senshi. As he mentions eggs and how they are nutritionally whole, he notes that they would do with a nice fatty nutritional meal to keep their strength up. Where can they get some good, rich, protein, fatty meal, and some eggs all in one? Laos has the plan. And it's a basilisk. A basilisk? Basilisk. Listen, the names in this anime are written as if somebody who wrote them hates me personally. So excuse me if I mess up. I'm going to mess up a lot. Sorry. Laos has a plan, and it's a basilisk. Basilisk. See? Basilisk. Yeah, we're doing it. And it's a basilisk. King of snakes. Oh boy, I just realized the rest of this episode's going to be fun. Yeesh. Anyways, goodness gracious me. All right. Not to be confused with a cockatrice. Different families according to Laos. Part chicken, part snake, egg-laying, meal potential. So they set off. Not far off, they find their target attacking another group of adventurers. The basilisk is large and does a number on the unknown pair before turning its eyes on Marcille. They bob, weave, and Marcille frantically gets the bird's attention. The team of Laos and Senshi move on the basilisk as it splits attention. With the two heads of the creature confused, they can easily dispatch both heads at once. After the impressive tag team maneuver, the basilisk is dispatched. After a quick joke from Laos about how the chickeny parts are definitely the ass of the monster, the team notices that one of the adventurers that got attacked is poisoned. Senshi has the antidote. Senshi has the antidote they need, but he says unfortunately he was going to use that for their meal. The team gets a little upset, but Senshi states he has no choice, and the adventurer is just going to have to stick it out until he's done being Chef Ramsay. Then proceeds to go through his process of preparing the meal. Slow cooked, I might add. Once the banger of the meal is completed, fed to two travelers to administer the antidote. While eating the meal, Senshi lets the adventurers know the key to success on adventures are eat right, sleep, and exercise. Senshi is a nutritionally conscious king. The group continues deeper into the dungeon. On the way down, Marcille is seen struggling a bit and hurting herself while descending. The team needs to take a rest, and this prompts Marcille to feel like she is holding them back a little bit. Since she is in her head as they are walking and talking about the obstacles they might need ahead. Oh, wow. I'm going to try that one again. So sorry. Since she is in her head while they're walking and talking about obstacles they might see, she keeps insisting that she could use her magic on them, even though it's shot down by the team every time. It's time to prep for a future meal, and this time, mandrake is on the menu. Mandrakes scream when they are pulled out of the ground, and Marcille, wanting to be helpful, says her skills in magic are exactly what they need. Marcille's magical ingredients guide says ludicrously that they use dogs to tie ropes to the end of the mandrakes so the person won't hear the scream when they're pulled out. When the team, rightly so, prompts what happens to the dog, a somber look comes across the crew, and Senshi walks up to a mandrake, pulls it out just enough to stab it, and says, "Let's just do it this way." Marcille goes off defeated, but Marcille goes off defeated, but is still frustrated and doesn't want to give up. She wants to prove her method is the most effective one. She comes up with a Looney Tunes-ass plan to use the nearby bat creatures, lure them out of their hidey holes, to a rope dangling in front of the hidey hole that is attached to the end of the mandrake, so the bat will yank the mandrake out and Marcille will be left unaffected. She sets up her Acme-ass contraption, goes to vantage point, lines up a magical shot, and lets it rip. The bat flies out, pulls the shrieking mandrake, and all hell breaks loose. As the bat loses control from the mandrake, shriek and chaotically zigzags in the air, only to aim straight for Marcille's safe spot. Shrieking, crashing, and finally, a mess of a scene is left for the other team to find Marcille in. The creatures are indeed taken out, but Marcille is left in a zonked out, almost Novocaine-induced stupor where she blabs to her teammates about her insecurities, feeling weak. They reassure her that they're only saving her magic for the big boys. Right now, it's time to take it easy and save her strength. Deeper into the dungeon they go. It's trap territory, so it's Chilchuck's time to shine. He navigates the hallway to get the team through the trap door. He navigates the hallways to get the team through trapdoors and secret passages. Senshi is being stubborn with Chilchuck on how to navigate the traps. Chilchuck gets pissed because traps are his gig and he needs to be listened to. Senshi doesn't seem to care, but agrees to defer to Chilchuck for traps for now. After a bit, Senshi sees a flame trap go off and tells Chilchuck he needs to help him retrieve the oil for another meal. He is the chef, by the way, so now it's time to listen to him about the food stuff. Chilchuck doesn't like it, but becomes the assistant chef, leading them to the trap trigger source and ultimately the oil in question. The only way to get the oil is a pretty funny scene where Chilchuck opens a valve and oil goes blasting into the wok that Senshi is holding like a damn siege shield. Then he sticks his damn thumb in it like a boss for the temperature check and proclaims they struck gold because it's olive oil. Senshi goes crazy, using the bat from the plan from earlier, the mandrake, and decides to fry up a kakyagi for the team, and it made my mouth water just looking at the animation. As he makes up the meal, he pushes Chilchuck into helping in certain situations where he kind of has to analyze how he's cooking, sort of secretly teaching him how to cook. The narrator in the next scene begins to talk about the bonding that goes over a good meal and the delicious in the dungeon. All right. Episode 3, and we're going deeper still. Winding stairs lead our adventurers down and down. Chilchuck is still dealing with traps, and upon one of the traps he runs into, oh, sorry. Okay, I gotta regroup. I'm sorry, chat. I gotta regroup real quick. I just need a quick, you know. Chilchuck is still dealing with traps, and upon one of the traps they find in the intro, he borrows Laus's sword to wedge a switch open. In the process, a special item is knocked off the hilt of the sword. Apparently it had fallen off before, and Laus had done pretty much everything to keep it on. Glue it, duct tape it, prayers, you name it. When asked by his mates if this was some sort of a memento, a flashback of Laus and his sister cues up, going into an area of a dungeon they were coming up on. 3 years in the past, and Laus and his sister are following another team of adventurers into similarly the same area that the current adventurers are at, as they attempt to clear a path to a room full of living armors. Laus and his sister are forced to face the monsters as the adventurer team ahead of him is quickly dispatched. Laus can't handle them all on his own, and they're currently put into a little pinch. In the bad situation, Laus is struck down, and by the suits of armor, he has delivered his first adventure death, whatever that means. We get back to the team, and now they are facing their turn with the room ahead. They have to pass the living knights too. Laus, after his flashback, has a strange determination to figure out how to eat such a creature. No one thinks this is going to work. Not even Senshi, who states, "You don't eat armor." Laus seems undeterred by this, and they head cautiously into the hall ahead. Laus stated they need to be ready. The knights are going to be alert. They all move into the room with the knights, and they activate almost immediately. The consciousness seems to be that the consensus amongst the team seems to be that the knights should not be as agitated as they are. They all decided the best bet is to just bolt for the door. The knights waste zero time cutting the team off, however, so the team is forced to immediately retreat and exit back the way they came. Laus, on his way out the door during their escape, is taking very keen eye of the knights' movements, every twist and turn, from their quick exit and the scuffle from the quick exit and the scuffle that they had with the knights earlier on. The knights had made a beeline to the door, which had seemed unintentional for the team's liking. The thought is that there might be something behind that door. The knights might be being controlled, and if that's the case, whatever it is, it's probably behind the door. That's the key. The plan is to head in and have 3 distract the knights, while 1 goes for the door. Everyone volunteers Laus because he is currently obsessing over eating the knights, and must be the one to figure out the puzzle he is so keen to present. Take 2, and they all know the game plan. With magic user Marcel and Senshi taking point with the trio, Chilchuck using his agility the best he can, and Laus hightailing it straight to the door. It works out, and Laus makes it in, only to be met with a larger, more ornate, and clearly more menacing set of armor. Laus is no chump, however, and he knows he still has to do his part and get in there to figure out what's up He still has to do his part, get in there and figure out what's up, most likely by dispatching the knight. He goes in clearly, no slouch on the battlefield, and tries to get the best of the armor. The armor is good and outstrengthens Laus, but in an exchange, Laus notices something out of place on the back of the knight's shield. It's something small, something attached, something organic. An egg? Laus needs to know more. If it is something organic, it's being controlled from within. He noticed a knight from before that had seemingly been very pressed about the position of its helmet for some reason, If it's hollow, then why? A distraction, another lunge, and a strike of the helmet, and the foe's head is removed from the body of armor. He expects there to be some sort of reaction from the armor, but the armor is now striking rocks as if blind. Laos is more intrigued, a little excited even. He digs his... What? What? I don't even know what this line says. Chad, I'm so sorry. What did I do? Anyways, he's more intrigued by the fact that the armor is now attacking blindly. And during the exchange, he cracked his sword. So he takes the broken piece of his sword and starts prying into the crevice of a little piece of the armor he has in his hands. He digs in with his sword, crunching away, and then the armor gives way a little bit. It's like a mollusk. The whole colony is in the armor. Small organic things attaching themselves to one another, like a functioning little unit piloting a mech suit. But more importantly to Laos, it can be eaten. He uses his new knowledge to sneak up on the blinded armor and easily begins dispatching its weaker joints until it is no longer attached at the limbs. Now that the limbs are attached, it can't fight back. He hears his comrades in the other room who have been keeping up their distraction for some time now and are in a serious bind. Things are getting hairy in there. Laos is rushing into the room and yells at them that the knights are alive, and he tells them how to start taking them apart. A room of knights torn apart, a tired group, crazed and triumphant. Only one thing to do, right? Through excited convincing to Senshi for Laos that these things have to be like muscles and therefore could be prepared like them, Senshi agrees to take on his first task of cooking a living knight. He's never cooked living armor before. They help each other peel the meat from each armor as Laos goes on a bit about his discovery. Senshi prepares for his best performance yet. He uses all his prowess to prepare 3 meals for the crew to try to encapsulate a few possible ways that this dish of living armor might land. The 3 meals hit the screen, and I have to admit, I'm feeling kind of hungry now. Dwarf style, living suit, armor stir fry, accompanied with living armor soup, living armor grilled in what looks like a half shell, probably armor slots, and steam baked living armor steamed in the armor's helmet that the creature lived in. The spread looks unimaginable, but the team is still very weary. They feel like Laos is the best to dig in first. They all get ready to try a different dish, and as Laos knows it's only fair to go through with his urge to eat the armor, he grabs a grilled living armor and down the hatch. The face of relief he has as he proclaims they actually pulled it off, it's delicious, is priceless, as each member takes a deep breath and tries their meal. The ratings range from okay to pretty good. However, the main takeaway is that this feeling everyone has sits with them, that no one has ever eaten anything like this before. Senshi is especially reflective as he thinks what his adventures might be like if he leaves this team eventually. Laos decided to take the sword from the boss level armor he defeated to replace his broken weapon. New crest, new resolve, and before anyone can notice, a pair of new eyes pops out of the sword, indicating that they still have a monster amongst them. He hides it from his team, proclaiming, "No worries, totally not cursed," as they begin the next stage of their adventure. The last scene is the team moving out. The narrator queuing up, delicious dungeon, sure, but also, the other 3 party members have no idea they just gained a new one. Roll credits. Delicious in dungeon, add a lot of talk, a lot of hype, and I still see a lot of people saying that it is fantastic. It is funny, and while we'll say I am very curious and interested to see where the food aspects of the show go and how they continue to keep you hooked one episode to another so that you can look at all the delicious meals that are coming out. The first three is about the first three. And in the first three, while the jokes landed and some of the characters seem interesting, the main focus is on the hilarity of making the food. So I believe that the through line of them going to rescue the sister from getting digested just kind of gets lost. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be comedy throughout. That being said, because I judge things on the first three, I have to say that it didn't do the job that I wanted it to do, or rather the job it should have done, to really pull me in so that I could get invested enough to want to continue with the jokes and see these characters through. So while the hype has definitely been very real for this one, and the discussions are good, if you're into food anime and you want to see the nice combination of food meets dungeon, this one might be the one for you. However, for me, the first three didn't do enough to make me want to hop in and see the next episode right away. I could easily see myself revisiting this one when I have some more downtime. However, right now, it seems like the first three is going to be not delicious in this dungeon. Thank you so much. Going to take a quick break, and I'll see you in the discussion section. Hello and welcome back, Mr. Psyche Show. My name is Mr. Psyche, and you're watching the Mr. Psyche Sunday Show. The Sunday Show where we talk about all things gaming, anime, and VTubing, and where it's nearly impossible to buy a vowel. My name is Mr. Psyche, and this is the discussion section following the first three of Delicious in Dungeon. This one was pretty good. I will say that there was a lot of discussion that kind of pointed me to this one. It was the first one that came as a recommendation. Obviously, I'm trying to get through all of the new anime of the season, and I have some catching up to do as a lot of these came out, for the winter season. We're not technically in the spring season yet. And other reviewers will talk little, notes of each thing. But I didn't want to immediately jump into what I thought were like the apparently popular ones, but I'm kind of glad I did for this one, because it showed a really good contrast to like a normal review after you've soaked the whole thing in, versus what my show is kind of about, which is really seeing if the first 3 episodes of a show can do enough to grab you and pull you in from the jump. I had a lot of notes in this week's script about how it would be very weird if I was like a newer anime fan and I was looking for new stuff to watch, and I was trying to just like hop into this thing blind, and nobody was like give me any. If nobody gave me any like, oh, it's so crazy, down the road or blah, blah, blah. If nobody gave me any of that and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to start watching it, I'll be like, oh, it's funny. And then at the end, I'll be like, okay, well, it's cool. But I mean, it's just food montages, really. That's the one thing I kind of thought was funny, is because it's like finish the meal. And then the next scene is literally just setting up for the next meal. Obviously that's gonna kind of be the hijinks, and the whole formula of the show is gonna be like each episode figuring out how they mealitize their current dungeon situation. But there were definitely times when it just did not work, and I was like, oh, okay, so now we're just on to the next meal, I guess. Okay, cool. And the thing with rescuing the sister is immediately played for like a joke thing, because he's like super distracted and overly lost with like the importance of the food. And he's like, yeah, I just dragons digest slow, and jokes like that. But I don't know, like, again, it was like sometimes it would be funny and sometimes I was like, that didn't land there, sorry guys, you tried, didn't work. So yeah, but it was funny enough that if it was on, or like I was all cut up or whatever, there would be situations where I would not turn this off, or I might be like, hey, I wonder, fuck it, I'll go watch a couple more episodes, see what's up. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that scenario going on. So good stuff. Characters are pretty funny, and animation's not bad. Not crazy. It's not bad. Not bad. So good stuff. Check it out if you're feeling like you need more food anime in life. Food anime are actually usually pretty good. Still can't get over how hilarious Food Wars is. I love that show. It's very, very, very good. If you haven't checked that one out, that would not be a show that I would review on the first 3, because it's not the first 3. It's yeah, that's not how that works. Clearly, it's in the title. Come on, jeez. I thought of what I was gonna try to do, to I guess pay my proper respect for Toriyama, and I don't think anything I could do would make the kind of impact that I want it to. But something I wanted to do for myself personally was go back and revisit the video for Chrono Trigger, which I did when my editing skills and speaking talent were not as good as they are now. Listen, I might not be the best one yet. Not be the best one yet. Oops. See, I'm definitely not the best one yet because I can't use my proper emotes. It might not be the best one yet, but I look at content A from when I first started to content ZZZ Gamma, where I'm at now or whatever, and it's literally just night and day. It's crazy. The difference is substantial. So yeah, that's how we're gonna keep going. Baby steps, more improvements. Yeah. As I continue to try to include things, as far as my high rants go. I'm also going to start trying to incorporate a mini section where we talk about something that you can strive for this month to help your brains. One of the things that has been helping me recollect and refocus is to try to make sure that I give myself a good 30. You can start off slow. I'm all about baby steps, but you give yourself a good 20 to 30 minutes before and after, when you wake up and before you go to bed, to not do any app that will cause you to scroll. This means that you can do things like check an email and click a box or check a message, but please stay off of the scrollies. That's the X's, the TikTokies, the Reels, things like that. 20 to 30 minutes before bed, try it out if you've got the guts, and let me know how you're feeling after a week. Next week's Mr. Psyche show, be like, hey, a little bit clear-headed. Don't know what's going on. Maybe that phone thing's working. Yeah, it is. It is. Anyways, gotta take a quick break. Gonna move on to the VTuber section of the Mr. Psyche show, and then because I actually did a decent week planning, I'm gonna have a little bit more time for some chilling time and some discussion time, and yeah. All right, folks, I'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. Boom da boom da boom da boom boom da boom da boom da. He back. He back. He's currently taking requests for anybody who might want to work on my little diddle. I'm not gonna say that sentence again because it almost came out terrible, horrible, awful, awful. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mr. Psyche Sunday show. My name is Mr. Psyche, and I'm chilling out here with y'all on the Sunday show where we talk about all things gaming, anime, and VTubing. I am Mr. Psyche, and I ain't scared of no ghost. This week, I had a lot of time to think, reflect, to grow, to change, to Just kidding. I didn't have time to do anything because I was working on hanging out. Or sorry, I was working on making sure that all things were going well for the streamsies, for the streamsies, the streamels, for the straps, and now I'm just babbling. Thanks again for hanging out with me on this Sunday. I'm actually pretty sure that I am announcing my go time wrong because daylight savings is currently a thing right now. I'm also trying to figure out if I'm doing clips and stuff right. Yeah. Listen, if you're here and you can hear this right now and you are listening to this, then you are one of the realest ones for sure. And you're probably super cute. Talking about VTubing this week. This week in VTubing, this TWIV, this week in VTwiv. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. We will come up with a catchy name for the VTuber section. I promise it's gonna happen. It is, I swear. But that being said, we do our best with what we have. VTubing, like all forms of entertainment, comes with its fair share of issues. There are some that are unique to this space specifically, and although I don't think the topic of merch is one of those things, when I saw a large VTuber Bao sending out a message to her fans that there was an issue not receiving revenue from a nearly year-long merch campaign, I was a little intrigued. Now, although to VTubers that may have already been creating in this space for a while, as a newer VTuber, and maybe a newer VTuber fan, I didn't realize that there are some, weird omens when it comes to VTuber merch in general. As I noticed other creators speaking about experiences not receiving money either, I also saw so many stories of people ordering merch and then it taking massive amounts of time to be received. And the stories seem to be much more prevalent than just the larger names. The fact that there was no shortage of these stories was really frustrating for me as a VTuber moving in the space. However, we should not be discouraged though. Creating is important and so is doing your homework. At the end of the post, Bao speaks about how there will be another merch company helping her to deliver, which is awesome. For smaller creators, the takeaway should be to be wary and be aware that hurdles will be thrown your way. VTubing, as well as streaming, has many things you have to take into account when moving forward, but only few of the tips to start VTubing videos touch on some of the most important things to start with. Two of those things are research and planning. A lot of the trials and tribulations I faced might have been slightly less obnoxious if I had taken just a few more moments up front to have an outline of what I wanted to do, with notes on what others faced when doing these things. It seems simple enough, but sometimes we just miss those things. Granted, I don't get the chance to get as many structured VTubing stories as I wanted to because I am still new and I'm searching out for sources that might be able to help me track down more news events. I do constantly see these things that are reoccurring pop up, like VTubers dealing with merch issues, things like that. Another thing I wanted to highlight this week was I found another creator on YouTube. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to make any slides, so you're just gonna have to bear with me for just a second while I make sure to have the information pulled up correctly. I don't want to send people to the wrong place. So recently I ran across another Black VTuber creator who actually does a very fantastic job making their own Vroid models. And it's a very expressive, wonderfully crafted VTuber who was actually commenting on some of the stuff that was going on during the Black VTuber debacle when Toledo dropped his video. I also noticed that a lot of their VTuber VRoid models do a pretty good job, just capturing some of the hairstyles that other artists struggle with. And I thought it would be awesome to highlight them here. So their name is Miss T on YouTube. That's youtube.com at Miss T, MISSTISS, Miss Tiss, sorry, Miss Tiss. See, I already messed it up. I already feel really bad. On YouTube. And she is a Black VTuber creator that is doing well, and I got a chance to check out some of her content this week. That was really good, so I thought I would shout that out because unfortunately for me, like I said, I don't have an entire team of people helping me research, so I do the best I can with the VTubing segments, but that will get better, just like all of my segments have. They will. As all segments have and all segments will. I will grow to monumental proportions. Folks, I'm going to leave the studio, hop into the personal room for the last section of the Mr. Psyche show. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll see you there so we can hang out and chat. Be right back. Hello. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Or am I? You don't know. Could be anyone. My name is Mr. Psyche. Quick reminder. Like my stuff. Watch my videos, nerds. And, thanks for coming to hang out. I am Mr. Psyche. This is the Mr. Psyche Sunday show where we talk about all things anime, gaming, and VTubing. If you're listening to this in any format other than video, thank you for tuning in. Because, wow, okay. Hanging out without the afro is a move, I suppose. But there you go. Yeah, talking about the merch stuff was eye-opening for me. I know I saw stuff about it before, but the issue is that whenever you're on social media or communities or blah, blah, you gotta get trapped in these like areas, bubble areas where unfortunately YouTube and Twitter, or pretty much any social media platform at this point, will try to keep you there and be like, hey, this is the content line for you, which sometimes actually leads to me missing stuff from people I actually follow in lieu of whatever the algorithm was like, hey, you want to see this? And I'm like, nah, bro, you're getting it wrong. We used to get so right. I actually used to be shocked at how accurate some of these algorithms could be. And now it's like, you wanted, I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm not, this is no self-report. Like the algorithms are just getting it wrong. I do not want to see. I'm sorry, bro. Twitter is straight up world star now. It's what it is. And I did not go around and start being like, I want to see fight. I didn't. It just they started popping up on my feed like crazy. Something went up there like that as an issue. Sorry. Like people can try to be like, what you can say whatever you want, but you're wrong. There's just it's not incorrect. I had a really good time doing the show this week because all the topics were really hitting with me. As much as I probably won't go out of my way to hop back into Delicious and Dungeon right away, the show did intrigue me enough and was different enough that was cool to go ahead and jump in and see for myself. So that was awesome. Can't overstate how exciting it is to see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Man, the naming schemes for these games is really nutty. It's how crazy it is and excited it is for me to see that. A little scared right now because I don't have any. There we go. There it is. Sorry, I couldn't see my audio monitor for my mic, so I was worried that I might be I might be muted. But we're okay. We're hanging in there. And again, like I said, I hope everybody's having a good week. Since I'm in the open discussion section, outside of my line of research for the show and a story that I saw that was interesting, but I didn't want to touch with a 30-foot insulated pole, was all this weird crap going on with the Sweet Baby Ink stuff. That is, ooh, the internet's getting riled up about that stuff. I don't know if anybody has seen this, but it's essentially I'll let you get this wrong, but it's essentially a consulting company for games on, I guess, inclusionness and all kinds of other stuff that might have been, they basically might have been involved with a lot more games than people thought. It does seem to be pretty innocent and not that crazy as far as like the company goes that's consulting. Then somebody on, I believe it was Steam, or it's basically somebody of their own accord decided to make a program and give it out to the masses that would detect in games when this Sweet Baby Ink company had been involved. And that triggered a big old backlash of creators on one side or the other of the coin. Basically, Twitter wars ensued. Internet gets loud. People are upset. I think that both sides of this equation are acting a little maybe. I think the stuff about the Sweet Baby Ink people are listen, I could be wrong, but it's probably a little overblown. And then I believe that on the other side, even if it's not overblown, or it is overblown, regardless of the situation on the Sweet Baby Ink side, I think technically it's probably well within that dude's right to make the thing, right? He doesn't, I don't know. It seems seems like both sides are pretty wrong on this one. It's like, who cares, personally? But whatever how the conversation flows, however it goes, it is what it is. I just I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, and that is to swim around the chaos and try to snipe out these wonderfully built indie games that seem to be just keeping themselves out of these weird conversations. And then when they do, it's an indie game, so it is what it is, The niche fans that played that, whatever, then they can deal with the problem. It is what it is. We do too much, guys. We do, chat, don't do too much. All right, you can only give so much social energy to the universe, okay? I suggest you use some of that social energy on yourself and hanging out with me, because, you know, I'm awesome. So there's that. But hey, you know, you do you. All right. I think that one of the things we have to do to collect ourselves and just get better in general for ourselves. Yes, yourself. Be selfish. Take care of yourself. Is take a little bit of time to get away from social media. I don't think people, VTubers, gamers, I don't think anybody is ever supposed to be attached that much. I don't think we're wired that way. Our brains are not meant to work like that. I do not think. I'm not an expert. I'm just you know, a lonely stoner on the internet. But it seems to be, it's helping me. My mental health is getting better just from taking the time to detach every once in a while. I'm not the 100% best example, clearly, because I'm a habitually online VTuber. Hey, I can do what I say, not what I do, right? No, I'm just kidding. Do what I do, because I am actually taking the time to try to do these things, and it is actually helping. Clears the head, and it helps the creative juices get going. Hey, if you're trying to be a creative, bonus points there. Get more inspired, do more art. All you gotta do is relax a little bit more. Yeah, I know how ridiculous that sounds. Relaxing, what? I can't do that. I don't have time. You have time. Make time, goddamn. Yeah, so. Folks, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you're listening to this right now, then of course you're one of the realest ones, probably super cute. As I've said in the past, as more people drop in to hang out with me during the live discussion of the show, these sections will, you know, pan out, get longer. You'll be able to hang out, see me more often. But as long as, you know, we're just doing this thing where I get to babble on and get all of it out there, then, you know, as long as everything is in line, we'll probably be cutting it there. But before I go, folks, actually, just kidding, I'm not going yet. You need to like and subscribe to my videos. Push the little bell. And there's one thing above all you need to do right now. Remember to be kind to each other. Videos coming out this week. I'm going to try to keep a regular clip and a better clip when it comes to editing. And I'm going to try to do a better job to deliver things on time, even though, well, I did better this week, right? You can only go up from here, folks. Stocks are rising, and Mr. Psyche is vibing. Remember, nutrition, sleep, exercise. At least according to Senji. All right, folks. Peace.